Welcome to Worth Coin. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people walk past pennies every single day without giving them a second glance. But one specific coin from 1995 has collectors, treasure hunters, and auction houses completely obsessed. At first glance, the 1995p Lincoln 1-cent coin looks ordinary, almost boring. The kind of coin you might leave forgotten in your car cup holder or toss into a jar without thinking twice. But hidden among billions of pennies is a version so rare and mysterious that experts have whispered about values reaching an unbelievable $95 million under the right circumstances. And here's the terrifying part. Most people who find one never even realize what they had before spending it. Stay with me until the very end, because the next coins coming later in this series become even more shocking, with hidden mint secrets and unbelievable discoveries that turned ordinary people into legends overnight. The story of the 1995 P1 cent begins during one of the busiest eras in modern American coin production. In 1995, the United States Mint was pushing out enormous quantities of pennies every single day because demand for circulation coins was exploding across the country. Factories ran around the clock, dies wore down faster than expected, and quality control mistakes started slipping through the cracks. Most pennies from 1995 are worth exactly 1 cent today. But a microscopic group of coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint carried strange characteristics that collectors now hunt for with almost desperate intensity. Some experts believe a tiny number of prototype dies were accidentally mixed into circulation production. Others believe experimental striking pressure caused bizarre doubling effects and metallic irregularities that should never have existed. And that is where the legend truly begins. One of the most talked about versions of the 1995p penny is the dramatic double die variation. Now, if you have never heard of a double die before, this is where things get exciting. Imagine a coin die receiving an accidental double impression during its creation process, causing letters and numbers to appear slightly duplicated. On the rarest examples of the 1995p penny, the words "Liberty" and "I in God We Trust" appear, with powerful doubling visible even without magnification. When collectors first noticed these coins entering circulation, rumors spread like wildfire through coin shops and conventions. Some believed the mint would immediately recall them, while others started hoarding every 1995 penny they could find. Overnight, ordinary rolls of pennies became treasure chests. But doubling alone was not enough to explain the massive value attached to certain examples. A handful of mysterious specimens surfaced showing unusual coloration, razor-sharp strikes, and surfaces so flawless that even grading experts were stunned. One particular story still sends chills through collectors today. In the late 1990s, a man sorting through inherited coin jars from his grandfather reportedly discovered a 1995p penny with intense doubling and an almost mirror-like surface. Thinking it looked unusual, he took it to a local dealer, who nearly dropped the coin in shock. After authentication and grading, whispers began circulating that this coin might be connected to an experimental strike never meant for public release. The owner reportedly refused several private offers before rumors emerged of collectors valuing the coin near the multi-million-dollar range. Some stories even pushed the estimated value toward the astonishing $95 million figure because of its unique combination of features and mysterious origin. Whether every rumor is true or exaggerated, one thing became undeniable. The 1995p penny was no longer just pocket change. What makes this even more incredible is that these coins may still be hiding in circulation today. Think about that for a second. Somewhere right now, buried in a piggy bank, trapped inside an old couch cushion, or sitting unnoticed in a forgotten coffee can. There could be a penny worth more than luxury mansions, sports cars, and private islands combined. Most people would spend it on candy or parking without a second thought. That fear of missing out is exactly why collectors search endlessly through rolls of pennies from banks every single day. And trust me, you're going to want to hear about the upcoming coins later in this series, because some of their secrets are even more unbelievable than this one. As the years passed, the mythology around the 1995 penny only grew stronger. Coin forums exploded with stories from people claiming to have found unusual specimens. Some described pennies with off-center strikes. Others claimed to discover coins struck on experimental planchets, creating strange colors and textures unlike normal copper-plated zinc cents. There were even tales of pennies showing dramatic die cracks running across Lincoln's portrait like lightning bolts frozen in metal. Every strange variation added more fuel to the fire, turning the coin into a modern treasure hunting phenomenon. Auction houses began noticing increasing demand whenever high-grade 1995 pennies appeared for sale. Collectors competed aggressively, driving prices far beyond what anyone expected for a modern 1-cent coin. A perfect storm formed: rarity, mystery, speculation, and the dream of instant wealth. And nothing fuels human obsession more powerfully than the possibility that life-changing fortune could be sitting in plain sight. Part of the reason this coin captures imagination so intensely is because pennies are so common. If this were an ancient gold coin locked away in a museum, most people would never feel connected to it. But a Lincoln cent? Everyone has touched one. Everyone has ignored one. Everyone has probably spent dozens without even looking. That creates a haunting possibility. What if one of those pennies was actually the legendary coin collectors dream about? Stories began emerging of people revisiting old jars and inherited collections after hearing about the 1995 penny. One woman reportedly found several double-die examples hidden in a cigar box that had sat untouched for nearly 20 years. Another collector claimed he discovered a rare specimen inside a bankroll purchased for only 50 cents. Those stories spread across the internet, inspiring thousands more to start searching. Suddenly, coin roll hunting transformed from a quiet hobby into a modern treasure hunt filled with suspense and adrenaline. But identifying the valuable versions requires attention to detail. Collectors carefully inspect the date, mint quality, lettering, strike sharpness, and surface appearance. Strong doubling remains one of the biggest indicators, especially around Liberty and the motto. High-grade condition can multiply values dramatically because most pennies from circulation suffer scratches, stains, and wear. Coins preserved in pristine condition become exceptionally desirable. Then there are the rumored ultra-rare specimens connected to experimental minting errors or prototype strikes. These mysterious coins remain the stuff of legend, with collectors debating their existence and authenticity for years. Yet every time a strange new example appears, excitement erupts all over again. Some experts believe undiscovered examples remain hidden because many people simply do not know what to look for. Others think the rarest versions may already sit inside private collections, locked away from public view. Either way, the possibility alone keeps the legend alive. Imagine the emotional shock of discovering a penny worth millions in a pile of spare change. Imagine realizing that the coin you almost handed to a cashier could have changed your entire future forever. That emotional fantasy is what makes the 1995 penny so captivating. It represents hope, mystery, and the thrilling idea that ordinary life can suddenly transform overnight. And the deeper collectors investigated this coin, the more strange stories surfaced. Some believed a tiny batch was accidentally struck using highly polished presentation dies. Others claimed certain examples showed microscopic anomalies never officially explained by the mint. The uncertainty itself became part of the coin's magic. Because when mystery meets money, legends are born. Today, the 1995p Lincoln cent remains one of the most talked about modern pennies in American coin collecting culture. Even people who know nothing about numismatics have heard whispers about valuable pennies hiding in circulation. Coin dealers still receive calls from hopeful individuals convinced they found the legendary coin. Some are disappointed after learning their penny is ordinary, but every once in a while, a genuine rarity appears and reminds the world why the hunt continues. And here is the chilling truth. The next time you receive change from a store, there is a tiny chance that history could be sitting right there in your hand. Most people will never notice it. Most people will never look closely enough. But the few who do may uncover fortunes hidden in plain sight. And if you think this 1995p penny story is unbelievable, wait until you hear about the next coin coming in this series, because its hidden mint mystery and shocking discovery story left even veteran collectors speechless. Next, 2014 P1 cent USA. Coin. Imagine reaching into an old jar and pulling out a coin that collectors would fight over for the rest of their lives. That sounds impossible, especially for a modern penny made in 2014. But this particular Lincoln 1-cent coin has become one of the most mysterious modern treasures ever discussed among collectors. Most people see a 2014p penny and think absolutely nothing of it, because billions were produced and spent like ordinary pocket change. But hidden within that massive production run are rumors of incredibly rare error coins and experimental strikes connected to values reaching an unbelievable $88 million. What makes this story even more chilling is that some experts believe many of these rare pennies are still circulating unnoticed today, mixed into everyday change, waiting for someone observant enough to spot the tiny details everyone else ignores. And before this story ends, you are going to hear why collectors became obsessed with one strange version of this coin that seemed almost impossible to exist. By 2014, the United States Mint had entered an era of ultra-high-speed coin production. Modern machines were capable of striking coins faster than ever before, producing millions upon millions of Lincoln cents for circulation across America. At the Philadelphia Mint, pressure to maintain enormous output sometimes created conditions where tiny imperfections slipped into production. Most mistakes were caught immediately and destroyed, but collectors believe a microscopic number escaped into circulation. That is where the legend of the 2014p penny began. At first, nobody paid attention to these coins. After all, how valuable could a modern penny really be? But then reports started surfacing from coin hunters who discovered unusual examples with strange surfaces, distorted lettering, and odd metallic appearances unlike normal Lincoln cents. Some appeared brighter than expected, while others carried an almost satin-like finish that looked completely different from standard circulation strikes. Collectors immediately suspected something unusual had happened behind mint doors. Rumors spread that a limited number of test planchets or experimental strike settings may have accidentally entered regular production. Whether true or not, the excitement exploded across the coin community almost overnight. One of the most famous stories surrounding the 2014p penny involves a retired maintenance worker who reportedly discovered a strange-looking cent while sorting spare change from a convenience store purchase. The coin looked too perfect. Lincoln's portrait appeared unusually sharp. The surfaces reflected light in a strange way, and tiny doubling could allegedly be seen around parts of the lettering. Curious, he brought the coin to a regional coin show where several dealers immediately crowded around him in disbelief. According to circulating stories, the penny was eventually sent for professional grading and authentication, where specialists debated whether it could be connected to a prototype strike or undocumented mint error. Whispers about the coin spread rapidly, and suddenly collectors everywhere began searching through 2014 pennies with renewed obsession. Then came the jaw-dropping rumors. Private collectors allegedly started discussing astronomical offers for the rarest specimens, with some speculative valuations climbing toward the shocking $88 million mark due to the coin's mystery, rarity, and collector frenzy. Whether every claim is fully verified or partly exaggerated by legend, one thing became absolutely clear. The 2014 penny had transformed from forgotten pocket change into one of the most talked about modern coins in existence. The emotional power behind this coin comes from one terrifying possibility. You may have already owned one without realizing it. Think about how many pennies pass through people's hands every year. They get dropped on sidewalks, tossed into jars, forgotten in drawers, and spent without a second glance. Most people would never inspect a 2014 penny carefully enough to notice unusual details. That means hidden fortunes could vanish every single day without anyone knowing. And trust me, the next coin stories later in this journey become even more unbelievable, with discoveries that sound more like Hollywood movies than real life. As interest exploded, collectors started documenting every strange variation they could find among 2014 cents. Some coins displayed dramatic die chips around Lincoln's portrait, creating bizarre raised shapes that looked almost sculpted into the coin. Others showed off center strikes where part of the design appeared missing because the blank planchet shifted during production. There were reports of weakly struck examples missing details entirely, and even rumors of double-struck coins where Lincoln's image appeared twice in overlapping positions. Every unusual discovery added another layer to the mystery. But the coins that generated the biggest excitement were the nearly flawless examples with extraordinary strike quality and unusual surfaces. These pieces looked too perfect for ordinary circulation coins, leading some collectors to speculate they may have been accidentally struck using specially prepared dies meant for ceremonial or test production. Whether those theories are true remains debated, but controversy only made the coin more desirable. Because in the world of rare coins, mystery often creates value faster than certainty ever could. Auction history surrounding high-grade 2014 pennies became increasingly dramatic over time. Collectors willing to gamble on potential rarities paid astonishing amounts for pristine examples certified in top condition. One particularly famous sale involved a sharply struck specimen with unusual reflective surfaces that reportedly triggered fierce bidding among private buyers. Stories circulated online claiming wealthy collectors believed the coin represented a once-in-a-generation modern rarity. Even though mainstream experts remained cautious about the extreme valuations, excitement continued growing because nobody could fully explain why certain examples looked so different from ordinary pennies. And when experts cannot completely explain something, collectors become even more obsessed. Perhaps the most fascinating part of the 2014 penny story is how ordinary the coin still appears to most people. Unlike ancient treasure coins made of gold or silver, this is a simple copper-colored cent with Abraham Lincoln on the front. There is no immediate sign that it could hold extraordinary value. That simplicity is exactly what makes the hunt so addictive. Treasure could literally be hiding in plain sight. A child's piggy bank, an inherited jar of coins, or a forgotten handful of change from years ago might contain one of these legendary pennies right now. Coin hunters across America began searching bank rolls endlessly after hearing the stories. Videos appeared online showing collectors opening thousands of penny rolls hoping to uncover rare 2014 examples. Families searched together at kitchen tables, examining dates and surfaces under bright lamps. Some people became so obsessed that they purchased entire boxes of pennies from banks every week. Most found nothing unusual, but every so often, someone would post images of a strange-looking 2014 cent that reignited the frenzy once again. Hope kept the legend alive, and hope is one of the most powerful forces in the entire rare coin world. Another reason this coin fascinates collectors is the timing of its release. By 2014, cash transactions were slowly beginning to decline as digital payments became more common. Some collectors believed future generations would become nostalgic for physical coins, especially rare modern examples tied to famous stories and mysterious minting errors. That belief pushed demand even higher. Suddenly, modern pennies were no longer viewed as worthless spare change. They became historical artifacts connected to hidden treasures and extraordinary possibilities. And somewhere out there, according to rumors whispered at coin shows and online forums, sits the ultimate 2014 penny, a coin so rare and unusual that collectors supposedly compared it to finding a winning lottery ticket made of copper. Some believe it was struck on the wrong metallic planchet entirely. Others think it may carry a combination of minting anomalies never officially documented. The truth remains hidden behind speculation, secrecy, and private ownership rumors. But legends do not need complete proof to survive. Sometimes mystery alone is enough to create immortality. That is why people still inspect pennies today with growing excitement. Because every coin carries a question. What if this one is different? What if this ordinary cent is actually the discovery collectors have dreamed about for years? Most people will never know because they never bother to look. But the few who do understand something important. Hidden fortunes rarely announce themselves loudly. Sometimes they disguise themselves as the most ordinary objects imaginable. The 2014 1-cent coin became proof that even in the modern world, treasure hunting is still alive. Not buried under oceans or hidden inside ancient temples, but quietly circulating through grocery stores, gas stations, and forgotten jars of spare change. And if you thought the mystery surrounding this penny was unbelievable, the next coin ahead in this journey becomes even more shocking, with a hidden story so strange that collectors still argue about it to this very day.